Okay, who wants to give us a summary of our last game and where we're at right now? For inspiration, of course. Who needs some inspiration?
I already got two.
I'm already
I talked a lot last week. I talked a lot last week, so one of you other guys do it. Tolan.
I mean, I'll do it. I have two. I don't know if Ulrich needs inspiration or not.
You can always get a third.
I have three.
Okay. So for the most part, there's a show the entire time. We went into the prison. Neris and Tiny had a good time in there, trying to convince everyone that they were this other guard, and they were able to make it happen. We were able to get our buddy out that we were sending there to get. We were able to get him out with some dimension door and some trickery, and that was accomplished. Then we went to the party, and Neris was quite goofy and having a good time partying. Was able to do some smooth talking with some people and convince some people to talk to us, to give us the information that we needed about where the Tharkion is possibly going to go to this wedding. And then once we figured that out, we went back and found out the actual plan to blow up half the city while killing the Tharkion, to assassinate him. And right now we are pretty much trying to figure out if that's the best laid plan, is to blow up half the city.
Yeah, very good.
Kill one guy.
In fact, you guys actually went to the cohort of Gafna. You went to Nurush. He's the Senecal, the second in line for the Tharkion position, and you actually went to him to see if he will speak to reason, and he actually seems like he has his own little motivations, and he wants this catastrophe to happen. So you guys are kind of stuck. You're not going to get much help from him in terms of trying to stop the innocent casualties. What's going to happen is there's a big barrel of rune powder. Rune powder is this mythological explosive substance that fabled to exist, but apparently Gafna's gotten her hands on a massive amount of it. When this powder goes off, it will cause an absolute catastrophe and blow up 1/4 of the entire city of Eltabbar. It will kill probably everybody who's still in the nobles' quarter, but it will also kill a lot of innocent people ranging around the docks quarter and things like that. A lot of people who are working there, regular run-of-the-mill citizens of Thay as well. And you guys need to decide if you are going to be helping Gafna do this, or you're going to be trying to stop her. Now, you have if you want to try to stop her, the ally that you really have right now is that poor guy you rescued, Jygor. He is now a prisoner of Gafna because of his disloyalty. He's being held in a cell behind her private office. In terms of your ultimate quest to find Syranna, Gafna says that she has a direct connection to Syranna. She sent Syranna a message on your behalf, and she is able to connect you with Syranna right as you help her accomplish her task. Jygor makes no such promises, but he says he'll do his best. He'll check his connections and do everything he can and figure out a way to put you in contact with Syranna. So you get no guarantees with Jygor. But Jygor's trying to appeal to your sense of reason and your sense of being good and not killing innocent people just to destroy this tyrannical, horrible person.
The real question is, how do we know that Gafna's being honest with us about that?
It's very difficult. Your insight doesn't work very well on Gafna. She appears to be a very practiced master assassin. Able to, if she wanted to lie to you, she probably would be able to lie to you without you being able to figure it out. So you don't know for certain that she's telling you the truth. but she does trust you with information on her plan. And this planned assassination is going to be at a wedding. There's going to be a procession prior to the reception for the wedding. It's going to go from the noble's quarter to the House of Bane, which is a temple. Bane is openly worshipped in Thay. So during this procession, there's a little crossroads from the noble's quarter. Within the crossroads, there's a big yew tree. It is certain that Almond Halakun's procession is going to go through that. That's where Gaffna plans to plant the explosive device. And she's going to need your help in setting it off and getting out of there.
So I guess right now we need to figure out if who we're gonna betray or who we're gonna help.
Yeah, you have to decide. I think in reality, what's going to happen is very much in your hands, because you're the only ones who know about this plot and have the will to stop her. If you don't do anything, she's going to attempt it anyway.
Well, we know Narush is the backstabber because he's on both sides.
Yeah, when you talk to him, you get the impression that he's got his own little motivations, that he is definitely excited about becoming the new Tharkion.
I think that Narush is in the plans of trying to make the rebels seem like the bad guy in the end, and it's not going to amount to anything that the rebels are, or the revolutionaries.
Yeah, Gaffna is.
They're going to end up being painted as a terrorist group, and then it's all shit's going to go to town, and the Red Wizards are going to be all over the town trying to.
Yes, if this happens, the Red Wizards will most definitely be all over the place. You don't want to be tussling with the Red Wizards. So far, you've been able to go under the radar and not get the notice of the Red Wizards. But if they do show up, they are extremely difficult to contend with, and they have absolutely no mercy. So if this happens, the Red Wizards are most definitely going to show up. The whole idea is that Gaffna has a plan to get everybody out of there before the bomb goes off. You need to be in a safe distance, and after it goes off, you guys are going to be safe, even when the Red Wizards come.
Man, we still should have a couple days. I told him would suggest that you go talk to the prisoner and see if there's any kind of substantial plans that he has, as far as stopping her and getting us the help we need before I think we need more information from him than just a few snippets of conversation, if that's what you're wanting to do.
And I think I'm more interested in trying to, hopefully we'll hear something back from the what's her name?
Yeah, the
Syranna.
Syranna. Yep, Syranna.
Well, we might as well be doing stuff until we get that. We might as well do stuff until that happens.
Yes, and I think one of the things we should be doing is maybe trying to locate where this explosive dust is.
Well, if we're going to be the one planting the dust, then what's to say we can't tamper with it and remove some of it before we set it off, if that's what you want to do,
and set it up so that we're only killing the Tharkion and not a quarter of the city,
not half the city, right?
Correct. That's what I think. I think there's just too many innocents that have really no. They're just trying to live their lives, not necessarily. Yeah. They're bad or good or whatever. That it's just.
Yeah, when you try to talk Gaffna out of killing innocents, she is so fanatical that she believes that these innocents need to be martyred, because the message that she sends needs to be so big that Zastam himself will come back from the war. So she says, if you only kill the Tharkion, it's not going to be enough to incite the revolution. You need to level the entire city to show that the Red Wizards do not hold that much power. That somebody can actually take a quarter of the city with him. So she is fanatical about this, and it doesn't appear she can be convinced otherwise.
I know that's her opinion. I'm more or less trying to convince my compatriot. Destroying the city is not shouldn't be an option.
Both in and out of game was when we were at the party. We heard some information about the Tharkion. They said he was fat and all this other stuff, and I'm thinking, like, he's old. I don't know how old he is, but if
there's young fat people.
Just by rumors, he's a little bit older than middle age. He's like maybe in the 60s.
So he's elderly.
Yeah, he's not a young guy. He's just he's a very cruel person. He made his living and his riches through the slave trade. He's greedy. He's connected with
greedy
shady,
and fat.
Yeah, with shady dealings. He's just all around a really nasty person, and even the people who serve him don't like him.
Well, it is
Here's an idea. Instead of following up.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing: you have a fat, greedy person in charge, or you have somebody that's two-faced.
Have Tiny Marble Cake serve as like a waitress at the reception, and just keep feeding this guy.
Well, the reception's that's already over with, right?
No, he didn't show up to the wedding, the original wedding reception, but this is the day of the wedding. So there's a procession, and he will physically be there. He actually is a little bit paranoid about assassination because there was a previous attempt on him already. So that's why he didn't show up in public, but he definitely will be there at this wedding because the person that is hosting the wedding is a major donor to his cause, Argos, whose reception you went to, and his very young wife. So because of that, the Tharkion will be making an appearance at the wedding itself. That's what you went to find out. So that's how everything is set up, and the plan is going to be taking place. So if you don't, even if you choose not to participate, Gaffna's going to attempt it. But if you do choose to participate, she wants you to be the ones who plant the explosive device and set the fuse.
How do you know she's not going to try to frame us?
You don't.
Well, we don't. I mean, that's just it.
You don't.
Well, as I said, Narush already knows who we are and that we're working with her, so I think that boat's done.
You don't. The issue is that what she holds over you is the fact that you have a quest to find Syranna, and what she has that you need is Syranna. She knows how to contact Syranna, and if Syranna's sent a message back, it would be through her. So unless you can find another way to contact Syranna, that's what she has over you to do her.
Here's an idea. How about we save the Tharkion, and then make it known that we saved his life, and then if he offers us a reward, we can say if he can give us an audience with Syranna.
That's something you can try. I'm open to any ideas that you may have.
Yeah, but we have to be stealth about this. We can't let them know why we're there.
Besides that, once again, Narush knows who we are and who we were working with. So, I mean, and who's going to believe us?
You guys did go to Narush, so
we're a bunch of foreigners. Who's going to believe us?
Besides, Syranna told us to contact her through the rebels.
Yeah,
Remember,
she directed you to the rebels in the first place when you first went into the adventure, and that's actually how you found Gaffna, because she told you that at some point 5 years ago, she had a change of heart, and she, even though she previously was a red wizard, when she was forced under the heel of Zaztam to become a lich in order to become a high Zolkir, she thought about it and she refused. And at that point, she started sympathizing with rebels. So that's a story she gave you.
So we're kind of split down the middle. Half of us wants to go ahead and blow the town to smithereens. The other half wants to barely blow the town to smithereens.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to blow the town to smithereens, but I need to hear a good alternative. I mean, I don't have to. I mean, I'm just 1/4 of the party. I mean, I'll just brood for a while and go along with what you guys say.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. The issue is you know, the Tharkion is not a nice person, and there's not, you know, he won't be missed, but the means of killing him is going to just destroy a lot of lives.
Yeah, but that happened in lots of wars where sometimes you have to throw a big bomb and kill 100,000 people to save 1 million people.
Yeah, that's actually it's sort of like that movie Oppenheimer, you know.
Well, World War II.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I'm taking inspiration from real life dilemmas and moral conundrums, just like the nuclear bomb. I mean, yeah, maybe it was the right thing to do, but you still have to live with the moral consequences of doing that thing.
Right.
So there's not always a right or wrong. There's a lot of shades of gray. But you guys, I'm open to, you know, this is a very open kind of situation. I'm not giving you like 2 binary choices. You guys can think of if you want to come up with something. That's the idea of this theater of the mind stuff. It's very open. It's you can be adaptable. So you guys think about what you want to try to do.
Yeah, hang on. Why aren't we like just because we're trying to reach out to Syranna? Why don't we just use Ascending Spell to contact her ourselves?
The problem is you can try it, but the Ascending Spell, the issue is whether or not this figure is known to you, because the figure of Syranna that you know was a simulacrum of the real Syranna. So if you send the Ascending Spell to the simulacrum, you don't know if she exists, or you don't know if she's going to reply.
Okay.
Plus, since we're back in time, she wouldn't really know who we were necessarily.
Yeah, there's only so many words you can put in Ascending Spell. Actually, Tiny was mentioning putting Ascending Spell to change the past so that her mother doesn't die.
Which I thought about that. I was like, I'm like, that might not be a good idea. Number one, it'll create a paradox. And number 2...
Oh, it's a fantasy world.
Yeah, exactly. There's only so much I can go into the science fiction paradox aspect of it. So much I'm willing to.
And I thought about... And it's like, okay, there would be, like... Tiny Marble Cakes would have ended up meeting the party anyways, because the party went to look for her anyways and didn't even know that they got attacked by werewolves.
Selune woulda, which Selune sent us to find you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's just how the gods work, you know. They just send you on these ridiculous quests.
Another option I thought about was, like, what would happen if someone were to eat the rune powder?
Probably. Well, the rune powder is an explosive, so if it's ignited, it will explode. If you eat it and it's not ignited, it probably won't do anything.
But would it react with somebody's stomach acids or something?
Not really. You need to ignite it. It would probably be deactivated with stomach powders and stuff. You'd probably just be poisoned or something, but it won't. You know, you have to ignite it. Just like with TNT, right? If you eat TNT, You'll get really sick, but it's not gonna, eventually it'll probably be broken down and it's not gonna be active anymore because it's in your body and it's wet and you can't ignite it anymore.
Just thinking about this.
See,
There was an episode of the Andy Griffith Show where there was a goat that ate a whole bunch of dynamite, and then everybody's gonna worrying about it goat blowing up.
Well, that's how explosives have to be ignited. So you have to have some sort of spark in order to. Once you have a spark, the explosive ignites with a chain reaction. But if you swallow something, it's wet and you can't spark it. I don't know why you would ask. I don't know what would compel you to go and try to swallow some of this rune powder.
His thought is to feed it to the Tharkian.
Yeah.
But the Tharkian, that death is more of in order to get Narush into office because he's
you're not gonna be able to feed. Well, it's gonna be impossible to poison the Tharkian after a previous poisoning attempt. He is super paranoid.
The point is to draw the other guy back toward the city, so that's why there has to be a big explosion because she wants to make the biggest hole ever in order to draw. What was that guy's name again? The
wizard
guy that's at war, the wizard at war.
Asaz Tam. He is the dictator of Thay. He is presently waging a war against the Sword Coast. You know just from history that this was 5 years ago when he eventually lost this war, but right now he's fighting it. So he's not here right now. He's in his parallel interdimensional vortex, Bloodgate vortex. Arranging troops and demons and things like that to invade the Sword Coast. Right now, they have a portal open in Luskan where they're pouring demons through. So
there's no guarantee he would even come here personally, even if they had a big explosion like that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a big explosion will.
Well, why would he come personally?
You're not sure.
I'm saying he might send his armies back here, but I'm not.
But then that's going to save the Sword Coast. So that would be a good thing.
Well, the Sword Coast, anyway. A lot of speculation here. How about we go try to assassinate Narush? If we do it quietly enough, and then people find him dead, and then that might be enough to make the Tharkian stay in his castle. Which then he wouldn't be able to get assassinated, and then there wouldn't be no point in using the rune powder, or at least wait until later.
But then is Gafna going to go back on her end of the deal because?
Well, we don't have to tell her that we're assassinating him.
No, I understand that.
Well, there's no reason for her to go back on the deal. We've already accomplished what she's asked to accomplish.
Well, technically, her final task is to complete this grand assassination. Technically, you have completed all her other tasks, of course, and that's why she's sharing this final task with you. But
if I just casted Tasha's hideous laughter on this guy, I wonder if that would be enough to give him a heart attack.
But the issue is it's not easy to get close to the Tharkian Halarkun. He is in his palace. He doesn't want to see anybody, especially people he doesn't know. He's very paranoid. You guys know that from all the talk you had during dinner. He's grown extremely paranoid of assassination. As a matter of fact, it's a big deal that he's going to actually come out in public for this wedding. And that's why he didn't even want other people to know that he's attending this wedding. You actually went and found out.
So then we're going to go stake out Narush's place and see how many guards and stuff he has?
You can do that.
I know.
You can do whatever you would like to try. If you want to try to assassinate Narush, you can, of course. You've waited another day and no message back from Syranna to Gafna, or at least nothing that Gafna's telling you.
Okay, there was Ethra. I remember like when
Yeah, she mentioned something about papers. I'll show you the papers. That was one of the things that she said to the person she was talking to when we overheard their conversation. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
and I think she was like, well, I don't think Tiny Marble Cakes noticed it in game, but I know Neris did, about like it seemed like she was plotting against the Tharkion as well.
Yeah, she and Argos were plotting some sort of business deal. Because it appears that she and Argos may have something a little extra going on from what you have overheard. You know, this is rich people, so everybody's sleeping with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And Argos also is extremely rich, so that, of course, gets him a lot of privileges. So Ethra, being the most beautiful woman in that circle, of course, makes her a very highly prized target for all the other rich men. And it seems like Ethra and Argos are having some sort of business plot when they're talking about these papers.
Well, it could be nothing. It could just be an honest business deal, or they could be plotting against the Tharkion as well.
Neris, it sounded like they were plotting to you.
They were plotting something, yeah. Because
they weren't.
What it was or not, it's not like we was.
No, it sounded like they were plotting to steal money rather than to kill anybody.
Man, we wouldn't know how to go about finding her or finding him or any of that other stuff, or
so you pretty much have
goose chase.
You have one day to think about what you want to do. The day after that is going to be the day of the wedding, and in the morning Gafna's requesting that you join her to flesh out the plan. So you have this day to figure out if you want to do anything else.
I'm wondering what Jygor's plans were.
I say we talk to Jygor.
Yeah.
How he would stop the plot, other than having us help him.
That wouldn't take very long, just to talk to him, and if we're not satisfied, we could always go try one of the other things.
Want to come up with a way to silence Narush, but leave it in so that no suspicion, and just really if he goes missing before this wedding or whatever, or he ends up dead before this wedding, I'm sure security will end up getting tightened for this wedding. So we might want to if we're going to do something with him, we might want to be inconspicuous about that.
Well, one other thing that I had thought about is, Narush kept staring over across the room toward these bookcases and stuff. What's to say that's not where the rune powder and stuff's hid?
Oh, you guys know where the rune powder is. Gafna keeps it. Yeah, she had it shuffled through the sewers, and she keeps it very well secured.
I'd say there's something
around her person at all times. There's a big barrel.
I'd say there's something in those bookshelves that he didn't want us to see that had something to do with what we were talking to him about, though.
Alright. I think we talked to the prisoner. And then
we told him, why don't you just go, nonchalantly go talk to the prisoner and find out what you find out, and that'll just be the first thing we do, and then we can go from there, and that'll at least get us started.
So you go back to Gafna's quarters, and right now, because she is busy planning, the barrel of rune powder's not there anymore. She must have already begun to pack it away and transport it somewhere. She's not there either, and there's only one guard that she left there to guard Jygor, but the guard sees you, and he's been told that you guys are okay to do whatever you want. So he just kind of gives you a nice nod.
We nod back nicely.
He's like, he's like Gafna's are off doing preparations.
So is the prisoner behind closed doors, or just a guy just standing in front of a door and he's just back in the room?
Well, there's Gaffna's quarters, like her study with all of her plans and all of her equipment, and then there's a back room in her study, and in front of the back room, this guard is sitting there. Previously, somebody else handed you a letter, and at that time there was no guard. But at this point, because Gaffna's not here, there's a guard there just watching the back room. So the door's close to the back room, but behind the back room, a Jygor is behind like a portcullis.
Well, look, talk to this guard, tell him to, hey, we were told to check in on this Jygor guy, and we know we wanted to see if he has more information about how the property court handles their dealings. Maybe he had more information. So
you need to roll a deception.
talk to him.
Are all four of us there, or just Tolan?
I think you all showed up, right?
Yeah.
The guards, kind of eyes you suspiciously, and he says, "Well, Gaffna said don't let anybody into the room with the prisoner. I'm sorry, I can't let you in."
Well, we're not just anybody, you know. We're helpers of the master plan, and we need to do what we can to make sure we got all the information we need. Make sure that like any property core members are gonna interfere with the plan. And
Yeah, I understand that, but he's like, unless Gaffna gives the okay, nobody goes in there except her. And you see he's starting to get a little suspicious.
Well,
He's starting to look like left and right to see if like there's something, something nefarious going on.
I'll speak up and say,
Well, Gaffna did tell us to go and talk to a Meow Meow, because she was too busy getting ready for the big plan, Meow Meow.
He looks at you. He's like, "Listen, you give me a letter from Gaffna letting you in. I'll let you in. But other than that, I can't do it." It's like her orders were perfectly clear. It seems like Tolan was trying to talk his way in there, but because of the way Tolan said it, this guy got suspicious.
Fair enough. We'll go handle this, and you intend that we're trying to speed things along. I'm sure Gaffna wants us to speed things along because there's always lots of things to prepare. So.
He's like, she's in the sewers. I'm making preparations. If you want to go find her, it's like, give me a letter from her. And
I'm like, I forgot. I got a letter right here, and I'm going to pull out a scroll of sleep and subtly cast sleep on the guard.
roll the hit point amount for sleep. We'll see if you can put him to sleep.
What is the hit point?
No, you have to roll. I forgot the amount roll.
Wait, I'm looking.
You have to match his total hit points. Let me see. 5d8.
All right. 4, 5.
The guard falls back in his chair.
There you go.
Falls asleep.
Oh, let me get rid of more of those sleep
Good job, Nares.
Yeah, I could have done the same thing.
Just a fair warning, when he wakes up, he's gonna know you attempted to cast a magic against him. Because the act of casting asleep has made him aware that you've done a hostile action to him.
I did it subtle, and it was I told you it was a note.
Oh, he uses meta magic.
Oh, if you use the meta magic, then no, that doesn't count.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't realize you used you were using.
Yeah, I said I was going subtle cast. That's,
okay.
Well, that's the name of the meta magic.
Oh, I thought you. I didn't. I wasn't thinking subtle. I thought you were just saying I'm going to subtly try to cast.
Oh. Okay.
All right. So the guard's asleep, and you guys you guys just take his key off of his key ring, and open the door and go back, and you can see that Jaigor's back there. His hands and feet are no longer bound. Like it was before. He's like pacing back and forth, and then he sees you come in. He's like, "Oh, thank." He's like, "Thank the gods." It's like, "Have you reconsidered?"
I wouldn't say we have necessarily reconsidered, but we are considering. We need to figure out what your plans would have been to stop this.
He says,
we have our plans that we need to follow through with, that we need things to happen, but we need more guarantees of what we need is going to be accomplished.
You need to find this red wizard, and you need to contact this red wizard, correct? He says, I don't have Gafna's connections, but he says, I do know how to surreptitiously contact the red wizards if you know the case.
You know the case?
Well, each of the red wizards, when you become a red wizard, you must declare a school of specialization, whether it's evocation, necromancy, divination, and each of those schools of magic have a caste, and the head of the caste is called the Zulkir. He says each of the castes operates independently, even though the red wizards together form a symbiotic group. He says, and there are, depending on the caste you're trying to contact, I do have connections with red wizards that are not necessarily sympathetic, but may also profit from resistance actions. He says, I can make an attempt to contact the caste of this red wizard you're trying to reach.
Do you guys remember what case Syranna was part of? Because I don't think I heard which one it was.
Who remembers for inspiration?
Well, I'm maxed out on my inspiration, but I heard Syranna was a diviner.
Yes, Syranna is she was going to ascend to be the Zulkir of divination, but she rejected that offer. So she's a high-ranking member of the school, the caste of divination in the Red Wizard Society.
Okay. Thanks for remembering that, Tiny.
He says, well, the school of divination, that'll be difficult. As you can imagine, the diviners know every step before we even take it sometimes. He says, but it can be done. He says, I'll do everything in my power to help you, if you help me.
We'll find out what he plans to...
He says, he says, you know more than I do about the specific details of this assassination attempt. It appears I've overheard that Gafna wants you to participate in it yourselves. I mean, you must know exactly how to thwart this plan. He says, please, he says, you need to get me out of here. He says, we need to go somewhere safe.
You realize the moment we have you leave this area, or leave this place, suspicion's gonna come circling around trying to figure out who let you go, and...
He says, but does anybody know who helped me escape?
Yeah, the guard that's but asleep out there in the chair.
But he just fell asleep, meow meow.
But we was the last ones he saw.
He says, "Well, if I have to stay here, then I'll stay here. If you're willing to help and stop this travesty. If I have to die, then I'll have to die. But I can't live with the thought that I didn't try everything I could to stop this."
Well, what can we do to help you, meow meow?
He says, "Stop the explosion. Any way you can."
But do you think the Thalkion still need to be eliminated?
He says, "I hate the Tharkion with every fiber of my being. I would love to see him die, but not like this." He says, even if he lives, it is better than to kill thousands just to kill him.
What are your opinions of Narush?
I think Narush is in it for himself. Narush is allied with us because we have a lot of dirty secrets on him. But at the same time, he knows way too much, and at a single order from Narush, we would be eliminated. So it's a very difficult balance that we strike with him. But Gafna knows enough secrets that will bury him.
If Narush went missing, do you think that would cause alarm?
Most definitely. But Narush, I do not think, would be stupid enough to be present during this assassination. He probably would be disappearing anyways, for the time being.
Maybe if somebody tried to assassinate him before, then maybe the Tharkion will get scared and not go to the wedding.
If Narush were assassinated and his body were found, and it is known that he's assassinated, certainly would cause the Tharkion extreme alarm.
Well, we can all that happen if you can get us in touch with Syranna.
Says, like I said, I will do everything in my power. It is difficult to do anything from this cell, however.
Do you have any abilities that would make you make it look like you escaped on your own?
Certainly. I can make it look like I overpowered the guard when he was walking in to check on me. Perhaps I put my hands through the bars and strangled him and stole his keys.
Why don't we do that, meow meow? He's asleep, so we can just gently lay his body on the floor and then walk out and then make it look like you knocked him out, meow meow.
Yes, it would look like I escaped on my own. Gafna does not seem that concerned about me. She does not know that I have tried to recruit her strongest agents against her, and you.
Well, that sounds like that's our plan.
So you guys go outside to kind of look around. There's nobody else there. This is a private quarters. There's actually more guards on the outside of the room that you guys walk through. So you guys take the guard and bring the guard in and just put the guard on the floor. There are keys. You took the guard's keys, so the same keys unlock the portcullis. And you unlock the portcullis and help Jygor escape.
Alright, so are we actually going to go through with that plan, or?
I think letting Jygor escape is a good plan.
So Jygor is stealthy enough that once you release him from the cells, he knows this place well enough where he can get out of danger without coming across any guards or anything like that. You guys walk nonchalantly back to your rooms, and he's able to kind of make his way stealthily back into your rooms. So you guys are all sitting down in your private quarters, kind of plotting. He says, well, you know better than me what the exact specifics of this plan are. He says, perhaps if we lay it out, we can figure out how to stop this.
Yeah. I think we need to probably wake up that guard and feed him the story that he let Jaguar escape, just so it doesn't come back to us. I wasn't very convincing to the guard. I was wondering if someone could try to tell that story to the guard of hey man, what'd you do? We found you asleep here. What happened to you? Did you let this guy out? What? Something like that. But I don't quite have the convincing skills to make him believe that.
I do.
All right, Tiny. So you go back down to the scene where the guard is kind of slumped down next to the bars, sleeping.
And then Tiny Marble Cakes will walk up and see the portcullis open and be like,
What's happened here, meow meow?
So he wakes up, he's like, what? Where am I? He looks around, he's like, the prisoner! What happened? And he's sitting there feeling for his keys, and the keys are gone.
Meow asking yourself the same question, meow meow. Meow just walked down here and found you, meow meow, sleeping and the door open, meow meow.
Okay, deception for Tiny.
I'm gonna burn an inspiration to give myself advantage.
He does appear to believe you, and he gets up. He looks frantic. He's like, oh, no, this can't be. I have to go tell Gaffna right now.
Good job, Tiny.
And he gets up and he starts rushing out the door. He's gonna go run and tell Gaffna that the prisoner has escaped.
All right, so that takes it off of our heads
for the time being.
And then Tiny will just make like she's going just to get a glass of water or something, and then she'll go back to her quarters.
So, when you guys are sitting in the quarters with Jaguar and you tell him about the specifics of the plan, Gaffna is going to ask you to take this rune powder, which is in a barrel, and you're going to disguise the rune powder and hide it in the crossroads. There is a long fuse. The fuse will actually take like a good 10 minutes or so to complete. And Gaffna knows exactly how long it's going to take for once one of you is going to be a lookout, you're going to spot the caravan, Almund Halakun's caravan. The minute you spot the caravans, the minute you light the fuse, and it should be timed perfectly, by the time he gets towards the crossroads, the thing is going to explode. Even if he doesn't even make it to the crossroads, the explosion is going to be so big it's going to get him. So right when you light the fuse, there are going to be horses waiting on the other side of a big hill that's obscuring the view. You guys hop on the horses and you'll be out of the blast range by the time the blast goes off. There are going to be a lot of guards stationed along the path, because any path that an official takes always has like guards and red carpet treatment. So you're going to have to do this without alerting the guards of what you're doing. So that's what the plan is. He says, and Jaguar says, well, it seems that she's trusting you with the entirety of the plan. He says, if you don't light the fuse, there's no explosion.
Well, we can just pretend to light it and then not light it, meow meow.
I think we can.
He says, but if I know Gaffna, I know she's going to have a backup plan. So I'd be careful. If you don't light the fuse, somebody else might be there to light the fuse. She may have other agents stationed there watching you as backup. He says the safest thing to do is get the rune powder out of the city entirely.
Maybe Meow can swap out the barrel for something else.
He says, if you have the skill to do that, that would be fantastic. But the barrel, I'm sure, is Gaffna's most prized possession. She would have it warded and protected and on her person or next to her at all times before she hands it off to you.
We can swap it meow meow after.
Either that or like let the barrel somewhat empty on the way to the location. And we try to sneak it in.
Is
With only a little bit left in it.
Is there a spell of rain or water or something that we could light the fuse and take off and do a spell of rain or some sort of water? Then that's going to water down the rune powder and put the wick out, and that's going to run the rune powder.
Well, the powder's in a barrel, so
Yeah.
The fuse
Wow,
is
that's
very,
huge.
the fuse is very, very long, and it just slowly burns down until it reaches the barrel. So that gives you 10 minutes to ride at full speed on your horses out of the city. So you should be out of the city, clear of the blast radius by the time the fuse reaches the barrel.
Maybe Meow can cut holes in the top of the barrel so that when it rains, Meow water gets into it.
You can try that.
See, because we're going to light the fuse to make it look like we're doing a job, but we're going to do the spell to run the rune powder, and then no harm, no foul.
Jiger says, I and all the all the other resistance agents that are just appalled by what Gaffna is planning, we're willing to help if you want us to participate in any way. And he says there's about 3 or 4 other agents that are trustworthy alongside Jiger that can help you if you want to come up with a plan. There's some extra hands to help.
Considering now that you know the plan, why don't we so we don't look so bad? Like, say we get ambushed by you guys, and you guys end up taking the powder away from us, running away with it.
Meow sounds like a grand idea, Meow Meow.
He says, yes, if Gaffna will believe that me and 4 of my agents can overpower the likes of you. She's seen you fight. She knows what you're capable of. I'm a level 3 rogue. He didn't say I'm a level 3 rogue, but that's he's indicating.
Right.
So now, where's the barrel is already in place, and is the fuse already in place?
They're not in place presently. You're gonna do it the morning. The wedding takes place around noon.
So that's us. That we're going to be placing the barrel and the fuse.
Yeah.
And doing all the dirty work.
Yes.
Yep.
Because she knows that you're so capable, she trusts only you to do this properly.
So what if we take a bit of rope, I don't know, 15, 20 feet, make it look like the fuse, hook the fuse onto the rope, and then carry the rest of the fuse on out to wherever the horses are, and then at the appropriate time light it, and then when the fuse gets to the rope, It's just going to hit wet rope.
Yeah,
and
you can
fizzle
do that.
out.
No, you can sabotage the part of the fuse so it burns out. That's not hard.
So we need to be able to get rid of that rune powder. We need to be able
Yeah.
to make it.
No,
harmless.
Jiger says it's not difficult to sabotage the plan. We just, if the rune powder is physically still there, she will send another agent to ignite it.
Can you dimension door a item out with an item?
No, it's too heavy to dimension door out. It's too heavy to carry, so you can't really grab it and dimension door out.
Well, if you had two people touching each other and then dimension door out, holding on to the...
it would be considered like furniture, so you can't do it. It's not like an object you have in your pack. It's more like a furniture item, like a wheelbarrow or something. You can't really dimension door with that. Even though in video games you can put a barrel in your inventory.
Igor, have you seen Captain?
That's actually something you do in Baldur's Gate 3. You get
Yep.
to there's a part where you get to where there's a big barrel of something very plot important, and you can just pick it up and put it in your inventory. You don't have to deal with the guards or anything. Just put it in your inventory and walk out.
Igor, have you seen Daphne test the powder?
I haven't
Or
seen
heard
it.
her test it?
I
Or
haven't
heard her-
I haven't seen it or heard of it myself. But if she's willing to go through with this, it must be the real deal. This is apparently a powder in which 1 gram can destroy an entire building. He says, I don't even know where she got it. It's only a mythological substance, said to be Netherese in origin. The blast will be arcane, it says.
Would dispel magic work on the rune powder?
I don't know. It's beyond my this is beyond my knowledge. He says you'd have to get to the substance yourself to examine it and see its properties.
Do we have a cleric or a druid on our team?
No, you're the closest
No.
thing.
Huh.
Why would you want
Because-
to try to do?
Because we could do a level 1 create or destroy water in order to create 10 gallons of clean water, and we just have to take the lid off the barrel, and we can create it to put in the barrel, or we can make it fall as rain in a 30-foot cube,
Oh, I wonder if you could polymorph it.
extinguishing exposed flames in the area.
Polymorph has to be a creature.
But that's cleric or druid.
There may be some other transmutation spell that can transmute objects, but polymorph has to be a creature. Well, these are all options, certainly, and Jagger's all ears. If you want his help or his help of him or his agents, they're at your disposal.
So then Jagar could have an agent that's a cleric.
He says, well, you know, he's a Joris. He did grow up in a temple of. He did grow up in a temple. And he knows a few small clerical spells. I don't know if he'll be able to help you there, but I can ask him.
Yeah, ask him if he can control her. That way, the water's going to make that powder useless.
So
Maybe-
you're talking about control water or create or destroy water?
It's
Create or destroy water?
Create, destroy. I'm sorry.
So
Create or destroy.
So Jygor asks you to go and call in Jarvis, and you guys bring in Jarvis. And Jarvis kind of you ask him about his clerical abilities, and Jarvis like, I only know healing word. I'm sorry. He's like, hey, but he's like if you want a spell like that, I may be able to find it. He's like yeah, give me a few hours, and I can
come back in a few hours, and then I want you to show me that you can do it.
We might only get like 1 scroll or something like that.
Get 2 scrolls.
How about we maybe get, because we're probably not going to get a sample from the barrel tonight, that sample that Gaffna had. Maybe we can somehow get a piece of it and see if we can use dispel magic on it or something like that. That could be a way we can neutralize it.
When the stuff is it magical?
We believe so, right?
I mean, if gunpowder isn't magical.
This is not gunpowder.
No, this is arcane rune powder. It's absolutely magical.
So then dispel magic?
Maybe, but it's a very powerful magic. So dispel magic depends on the concentration of magic, the spell you're trying to get rid of. So if you're talking about a high level spell, your roll to dispel it is going to be pretty phenomenal. So yes, potentially it could work, but
so
until
I have level 3
until you
dispel magic.
Until you can get access to the rune powder itself, you don't know its properties per se.
Well, that's why I want to get a sample of it and maybe cast Identify on it to see if we can identify and get more details of it.
You can certainly do that.
Meow wonders if she keeps it in her room, meow meow.
She doesn't keep any, she keeps it on her person. You're pretty certain of that. She wouldn't leave lying around anywhere. So if you want a sample of it, you're going to have to go get it from her.
I'm all for trying to
we
get
have...
guys up to you guys. I'll try to do that.
I don't think we're going to be able to get it off of her.
I don't think we will.
Unless you got a red pickpocket skill.
She's in the sewers. You guys know that. She's in the sewers doing preparation work.
Tiny might have some skills to be able to do it.
She might not even have to pick it off her. She can just ask her politely for it and say that we needed it to make sure it's legit and that she's not being bamboozled.
Well, we don't want to play our cards.
Okay, 2 hours pass. You guys are kind of still sitting there, planning it out. And Jarvis comes back with 2 scrolls. He's like, look what I found! He says that the Temple of Merkel, they were selling this at half price.
John,
like,
I think we lost you.
Oh, he says the Temple of Merkel, they were selling this at half price.
You're cutting out, Jenny, unfortunately.
All right, so he comes back and says the Temple of Merkel was selling this at half price.
Nice. Well, there's our options.
He says, Jarvis says, I'm pretty sure I can cast this, I think. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay.
So I'm going to take Jarvis outside, and we're going to go find some place where we can be in the woods somewhere, and I'm going to have him cast one of these scrolls to see if it works.
So you take Jarvis outside, and she starts reading the scroll and starts pulling his divine magic. It's been many years since he's been at the temple. He's not very good at it, so he's got to actually roll. He rolls a wisdom check. His spell fails. He's like, no, I'm sorry, no, that one didn't count. That one didn't count. He's like, I promise you, when we cast this spell for real, I can do it.
You have to. I mean, wasn't it from a scroll?
Yeah, but he is not even a fully fledged cleric.
Oh.
He's gotten only like partial training. He's terrible at it.
Oh, I see.
He failed. He's like, no, but I know my mistake. I just, I failed to recite the full dictates of Merkul. He says, next time I'll cast this perfectly. Don't worry about me. I promise.
Yeah, I'm confident. About the rest of you guys.
Unfortunately, because this spell is not in any of your spell lists, I don't think any of you can use it yourselves unless you have some ability to cast a spell outside your spell list.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't want to check.
When Gafna showed us the sample, is it like a color that's like really noticeable?
It was luminescent. It was in a vial. It was luminescent. It was this white powder giving off this blue aura. You can even tell the arcane energy just emanating out of the vial. It actually was casting a dim light. So most definitely some sort of powerful enchantment involved. Unfortunately, she didn't hand it to you, so you can't really sit there and learn the properties of it. But if you got yourself a sample of this, you would be able to learn the properties of it.
So if, like, say we had a slow trail of this leading away from where we started from, it would probably be noticeable that there's a line following us with this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you guys want to do?
That's a good question. I'm trying to figure out how we can make this disappear subtly.
Really?
I would like to see if we can get that sample. We're all trying to be too smart.
Yeah.
I don't think.
The entirety of the powder is in Gafna's hands. She's in a sewers, so if you want a sample, you have to go there, go talk to her, or jack it, or steal it from her, or whatever you plan.
Yeah.
Well, let's head to the sewers.
Let's head to the sewers. Let's go for it. Danny, you might have to try to pinch some powder.
Meow.
But I don't think asking for it is going to be a good thing, because
No, we gotta distract.
we don't want to. We don't want to show our hand.
We're going down to the sewer to confirm the plans and everything with Gafna. And while we're talking to her, maybe Tiny's gonna try to pinch the powder off her, and or try to get a better look at it.
So you head down to the sewers, and you get to the hiding spot. You already know the sewers pretty well, just because you've been there last time. And you get to the hiding spot. It's a transit spot between that the resistance uses, and where Gafna is kind of conducting her business. And when you get there, you see Gafna and maybe 8 or 9 of her resistance agents busy at work. So Gafna has a big wooden barrel. It's a very unassuming, plain-looking wooden barrel. Next to her are a whole bunch of crates. And you peer over, and there's blue light emanating out of the crates, and she's busy. You see her kind of gathering vials of this stuff out of the crates. The crates are very carefully packed. The crates have a marking on them. You look at the marking, and I guess you can roll. Somebody can roll a history. Whoever has the highest history.
I've got a +4 to my history.
Just to identify the.
I'm negative.
Yeah, you're not the one to roll that then.
What's your history modifier?
Mine +3.
Alright, so what about Neris?
0.
Alright, so I'll roll the history check then.
You recognize these markings on all the crates as Zentarum. This underground criminal organization. Very notable all over Faerun. This is probably the source of this rune powder. And Gafna is carefully taking out each and every single vial, making sure not a single one breaks. And she's very, very meticulously putting the vial, pouring out the contents of each vial into the barrel. And you can see the barrel's already about halfway full. The barrel itself is sealed in a way where the light's not leaking out. Except for the lid that she's yet to fix on it.
Hey, Gafna, nice to see how things are going. Preparation's almost done. Need help with loading up this barrel?
She has this crazy look in her eyes, and she says, "Isn't this beautiful? Have you ever seen anything like it? Pure rune powder."
I'm gonna walk over to the barrel and look in it.
She says it'll be a total of 75 kilos. And you look at it, and as you get close to it, you can tell that there's a vibration just coming from the magical energies emanating from the powder itself. She says, "One spark, and this will blow a quarter of the city into a crater." He says the arcane energy released with the explosion will have not been seen since the days of Netheril. He says he's like, you can't imagine the resources it took to gather this much powder. But isn't this a miracle? And she continues to pour the powder into the bucket, the barrel.
I would like to walk over to it with my dagger in my hand, and I'm going to attempt to stick my dagger in it to stir it, but I'm going to scoop some of it.
She says, don't touch it.
I can't.
When you get over with your dagger, she says, don't. You have to be very careful. Very, very careful. You get even a smidge of that on your dagger, it will kill you if it gets ignited. And you can tell how careful and meticulous and perfect she is being. She says, even a grain of this will cause catastrophic damage if it is ignited.
Have you tested this?
Oh, yeah. She says, oh, yes. It's pure. And the powder itself is like a consistency of sand. So, like grains of sand. And she is being extremely careful to not spill a single grain on the ground as she slowly, meticulously kind of pours this. And you look around and you see the other guards. They are just carefully stockpiling some of these crates. They're like double and triple checking the crates and the vials to make sure that there's no leftover powder.
Now, are the vials capped or are they open?
They're all corked. But she opens it very carefully. She's wearing these very fine gloves. She opens it extremely carefully just to pour out the contents into the barrel. And you look inside the barrel, and there is a very thick lining inside the barrel to make sure not a single grain can escape. The lining is very thick, and it seems to be made out of like a rubbery hide material. She says that's pure poltergold hide. It's like not a single grain will escape. Completely waterproof. She's like, once I seal this barrel, and then she shows you the bottom side of the lid. She says, now here's the kicker. Even if the fuse doesn't go off, if somebody tries to tamper with this lid, and she shows you on the underside of the lid, there is a vial of alchemist fire rigged in a trap with a spark. So if the lid is ripped open, that alchemist fire will go off, igniting the barrel. She says we have to have contingencies upon contingencies upon contingencies if this is going to succeed.
Yeah, you definitely need to have those contingencies. And
so now you guys know more about this device. So this barrel is is very well sealed, so none of the rune powder can escape it, and it's waterproof. The barrel itself, and it's light proof, so when the lid closes, there's no light that's going to come out to give it away. On top of that, inside the barrel, there's a rigging of an alchemist fire, and if the lid is ripped out, the alchemist fire will be ignited. So if somebody tampers with the barrel, it's going to ignite. However, there's also a fuse to the barrel as well. There's a small hole on the bottom where the fuse goes into, that disperses into a little oil canister on the inside that will light the barrel. So you're dealing with some really dangerous stuff here. And Gaffna actually has a light spell. She's forbidding all of her agents to even bring torches, for obvious reasons. And she, of course, asks you to put out any torches you have when you go down there.
Good thing I got dark vision.
Tolan will go and just grab one of the small vials if he can.
She says, "Careful, careful."
Yeah, I understand. I'm just really curious about stuff, and
okay.
I would like to know more about it. And
her persuasion to let her let you examine the thing.
Did you say he was going to have to roll something?
Persuasion.
Yeah.
Well, I want a subtle guidance.
Okay, you can have subtle
you want
guidance.
to put it on it, or you just want to go ahead and just?
You can put it. You should put it on him. He's gonna roll it anyway.
Can I give him? Can I use the help action to give him advantage?
How are you gonna give him advantage?
I was gonna use inspiration.
Oh, he's gonna use inspiration anyway.
Okay. Here we go. Whoops, I think that's right. Tolan. Yep, it's on now.
She nods and allows you to take the vial as long as you're careful with it. But she expects you to give the vial back, which you pour in. But she nods to let you examine the powder.
And I'll spend 10 minutes looking at the powder and casting Identify.
When you cast Identify in the powder, first off, the arcane energy that you elicit from the powder is something you've never actually seen before. It is so powerful. It appears to be a concentrated force spell. A spell beyond the circles of magic that you even know. It's a level 10 spell. The amount, it's sort of like if you were to take a magic missile times 30,000 and concentrate it inside a grain of sand. That's what you see in there. The kind of arcane energy that would be released with this amount of this substance would be world-shattering, you think. You've never seen anything like it. This is the real deal. It's ancient Netherese magic. You realize that with your arcane knowledge, you learned that, millennia ago, the Netherese Empire mastered circles of magic beyond even modern day understanding. These skills since then have been lost, but there are certain artifacts of the Netherese Empire that retain the magic that they had. This is one of them. So if this spell is ignited, it'll release arcane force spell of a magnitude you've never seen. So you do believe that yes, this rune powder will destroy most of the city. It may even do more than that. You don't know what could happen to the weave if this much magical energy is released all at once. It might actually be dangerous to the weave of magic itself. It might even be dangerous to the gods. This kind of messing around with this kind of magic. This is actually how the Netherese Empire fell, is they were messing with this kind of magic.
So a level 5 wall of force spell probably wouldn't be able to contain.
No, absolutely not. This is so if a disintegrate can stop a wall of force, this thing is like a disintegrate times 1,000.
It's like it's a disintegrate in a 10th level spell.
And then I will slowly put the vial back after I identified it.
So she takes the vial and pours its contents into the barrel. So she's doing this very slowly. It's going to take her many hours to complete pouring all these vials in. You're actually concerned that it's not just the killing of all these innocent people, but releasing this much arcane energy concentrated in one spot like this is actually dangerous to the weave. Dangerous to the balance of magic in the universe in itself. Because things like this generally shouldn't happen. And the last time that it did happen, it destroyed the Netherese Empire, when the Netherese Emperor Karsus, the insane mage, tried to become a god by harnessing this arcane energy. This is probably residual of what he was doing.
You tried to use a 12th level spell to ascend to godhood.
Yeah, you're looking at a repeat of what Karsus was trying to do before. It's not generally not a good thing to do at all. And Gafna is just excitedly, she's so excited because this is more powerful than possibly even the red wizards themselves, and she's all excited about it. You have no idea how she acquired this much of this stuff.
Cool. Hey Gavna, have you heard from Syranna? I mean, come on, we've been holding up our end of the bargain.
She looks at you, she's like, not yet, but you can roll an insight on her.
Insight. My insight of 0. Yeah.
Somebody else there who has a higher insight, because you're all there, I'll take the highest insight.
Mine's only a +4.
Oh, well, yours is higher than mine.
I got +5.
+5 is certainly better than 0.
Yeah, have the one with the +5 roll it.
Gafna is so poker-faced, you can't tell if she's lying to you or not.
So I just shrugged my shoulders. Like I don't know.
She appears to, she is really very much a master kind of thief, assassin, rogue kind of person. Very, very good at hiding her intentions. If she is lying to you, you can't really tell right now. But you can tell that she is very serious and completely committed to doing this astronomical act.
So I look over to Gafna. I said, now damn it, I want you to be honest with us. What's going on? Where's Syranna? I need to know now.
Intimidation.
With inspiration.
she turns to you, seeing your sudden kind of a flare of anger, and she still stays completely cool and calm. And she says, "Have I shown you any indication that I don't plan to help you to the full extent my abilities?" She says, we are on the verge of creating history. She says, you want to reach Syranna, you will.
I must have rolled real bad.
Well, there's probably a high DC on her anyway.
She looks at She looks
I
up.
had a +7.
No, you did, yeah, but she's not. You're not scaring her. So she looks kind of left. She looks left and right to her, her crony, her little resistance fighters, to kind of keep an eye out if you guys are gonna try anything funny. But then she kind of snaps out. She says, she looks at you and she says, "You know what? You've done everything I've asked, and I've done everything you've asked." She says, "All we need to do is complete our arrangement, and you'll have everything you want, and so will I."
You haven't done everything we asked. One thing we asked is be contacted with Syranna.
And she says, "I have."
Well, we've shown you results for everything that you've asked. You haven't showed us any results yet for what we have asked.
And she looks. She kind of starts looking a little bit frustrated. She says, "I can see your point." She reaches into her. She reaches into her back kind of a pocket full of scrolls, and she takes out a scroll, and she hands it to you. So you take the scroll and you can see there's a broken seal on the scroll. The seal has the symbol of the Red Wizards on it. And you unfurl the scroll and you can see that there's a letter from Syranna to Gafna. The letter says, "I have considered your offer in sympathizing with the resistance. From what I've seen in the inner circle of the Red Wizards," he says, "I believe that the Red Wizards have lost their purpose and their way, and at this time, I believe that there can be no other alternative than to fight against them, lest we all become undead thralls of Zaz-Tam." He says, "Therefore, I am concerted to arrange a meeting with you. I've also seen the drawing that or the sketch that you've given to me of this very fascinating amulet, and I wish to know who holds it. And it's signed Syranna. So you don't know if this letter is forged, but that's all." And she says, "Like I said, I am in contact with Syranna."
Well, that eases my mind a little bit.
But you don't know if this letter's authentic.
Right.
From what it looks like, it's a Red Wizard seal on it. And she says, "Shall we review the plan then?"
Yeah.
Yes, meow meow, yes.
So she lays out a map on the table, and she says, "Okay, so we will the rune powder will be packed inside this barrel, and it will be hidden in a bale of hay. You will disguise yourself and move this bale of hay to this spot." And she points to the little crossroads. She says, you have to either disarm or talk your way out of the guards that will be stationed there. It's like, once this is done and the barrel is left, one of you needs to be a lookout to see when the Tharkion leaves his palace. The minute he leaves his palace, another of you must light the fuse discreetly so the guards don't see. And then once this is done, you will all rush to this spot here, and she points to the hill. There will be 4 horses waiting, the fastest horses we have. Get on the horses and ride as fast as you can towards the hills. Once you get to the wall, I have agents stationed there that will let you through the wall. You will be outside the city before the blast goes off. Any questions?
I have no questions. You guys?
So you're putting the barrel up on the street?
The barrel.
Isn't that a bit dangerous?
She says there are many servants that moving things back and forth. There are many wares placed on the streets. It will blend in.
So wouldn't it be safer to put this barrel in the sewer underneath the spot?
There are no sewer entrances underneath the spot. I had thought of this. She said she said if there that would be fantastic, but there are no underground passages near the spot itself. We scouted earlier.
So how are you hiding the fuse? How are we hiding the fuse?
She says the fuse, and she shows you the fuse itself. She says, as you can see, it's very long but extremely thin. As long as you cover it up and it's not in the view of the guards, they won't notice. It will be far away. It will be far away enough, at least 50 feet away. They won't notice it that it's ignited.
What are we going to cover it up with that won't put it out? I don't know a whole lot about fuses, but it looks to me like if you put something on top of it to hide it, that would put the fuse out.
So she cuts off a tiny piece of fuse and shows you, and then she directs you to the entire other portion of the sewers. Makes sure her gloves are clean and stuff like that, and she shows you how the fuse looks like when it's lit. Yeah, she makes sure that there's absolutely no chance of rune powder being on her, and then she lights the fuse, and you can see that the fuse only makes a tiny little sizzle. So 50 feet away, nobody's going to notice it.
Yeah, because you can actually light a fuse for dynamite underwater, and it'll burn.
Well, it has to be a special. Well, anyway, so there's still a chance that someone's going to, run them for that long, for 10 minutes. There'll be people along the street.
She says, don't worry about that. She says, I want you to do this personally because I know you are the most capable, but I have other agents nearby, should anything go awry.
Huh.
She says, the Tharkion will die, and this explosion will happen.
Oh, it sounds like a good plan, Gafna.
She smiles maniacally.
And we look forward to coming through with it. And, yeah.
She says, get a good night's sleep. Tomorrow we make history.
Wahaha.
Okay, well, guys, let's go to our quarters and get some shut-eye.
And I will, when we get away from these guys, I will tell them that I'm afraid that this is going to be a bigger boom than we actually are thinking, guys.
Well,
when I was looking at this, when I was trying to feel the arcane energy of the powder, I think it's gonna be world breaking. That's my concern.
Okay, we can take a little break now before it's halfway.
All right, that sounds like an idea. Get everything up. We light the fuse. When we light the fuse, we use the spell of sending to send a message to either one of his guards or the Tharkion himself that you got like 8 minutes, that Narush has set up a plot to assassinate you so he can become the next Tharkion, and there's a barrel of very, very high power explosive and put the position where the explosive is.
That's too much for a sending spell. There's too much Sending spell has a limit.
We can. I know you're saying that, but we can maybe compact it. We don't have to say it in all those exact words.
It's like a tweet. Yeah, you have to limit it to a certain number of words. And also,
I mean, I know, but it's like
you're not going to be able to contact the Tharkion himself because he's not known to you. You don't know him. You've never met him. You can send you have to know somebody to be able to send a send spell to him.
Well, then there goes my idea.
Somebody that we've met at least, and we've never met him. So.
I mean, it's still going to be people dying, whether he dies or not.
Yeah, you guys have a difficult evening, kind of. You're staying up in your room, kind of contemplating what to do, and the situation's getting really tense.
We have met some people at the reception.
Yes, you've met a lot of people at the reception.
What about Ethra?
You never met Ethra per se?
But we've seen her.
Yeah, you spied on her.
Didn't we meet? We met her maid or her servant, right?
No, you met the person that is sleeping with her servant.
We can tell him maybe.
Oh, we met a.
So yeah, so it's 25 words as ascending. That's a tweet.
Any creature with an intelligence of at least 1 can understand.
Yeah, of course. These are all the characters are all intelligence higher than 1.
Well, we could send it to the guy that Mildew was flirting with.
You can. He is actually.
He's a knight, right?
He's a knight of Bane, and he actually is part of the security task. He's part of the Forbidden Core security task.
Well, I think we can come up with a 25-word message to send to him.
Okay.
I think that would be a good idea.
Well, you guys think of the message. I thought of the.
Hey, guard. This is mildew.
I want to somehow blame it on Narush. And yeah, I would say it was from mildew. That would make it more believable.
Okay, so what's in the message? This is mildew?
Narush plans assassination. Barrel of the high explosive barrel, and that. And did you say it was in a bale of hay?
Yeah.
In bale at however we can describe the location.
It would be a crossroads, crossroads near U Tree.
At a crossroads, and we would see what the crossroads was, because we wouldn't send the message until after we lit the fuse. So we would tell him what at such and such crossroads.
Okay, so you make it clear where the location is that he could find it.
And then if you look very very small fuse, look carefully. Save Tharkion. And then that'll be about the message, unless anybody else think of something else.
Okay. So you're banking on the hope that he's close enough that he can get there.
Well, if he's a part of the guard crew, then it's likely if he's got 10 minutes, he could probably get there.
All right.
I would
He's
say.
going to respond to the message that you just sent him.
I don't care how he responds.
I'm curious what he'll say.
Oh.
Well,
if you guys can come up with something else, that's fine. That was just.
No.
If he does respond and gets there within the 10 minutes, so say it takes him 5 minutes to get there, that explosion's going to be big enough that it's going to take him longer than 5 minutes to get away.
Well, there would have to be an explosion. Barrel trap, cut fuse. That's what I'm going to put too. Barrel trapped, cut fuse. Because if he tries to open the barrel or whatever.
Yeah, do not open barrel.
And then if he knows it's trapped, they can work to eliminate the trap after we've already left anyway.
Right. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a reasonable idea. Because then at least we know that we did our part as far as Gaffna's concerned.
Exactly. You're not raising Gafna's suspicions of your betrayal.
And then somebody else might have told. Although would that end up falling on Jygor, because Jygor escaped.
That's his problem.
Jygor is there, and he says, listen, if you want me to take the blame, I will, because I've been complicit in this plot for so long. Half of that rune powder, I had a hand in obtaining it. I just didn't realize that she would actually go through with this.
I want Narush to take the blame, so that might eliminate a problem for us.
Yeah, I think Jygor and his friends should get the heck out of Dodge too.
Jygor says, even if Narush takes the blame, that'll be the end of the resistance. He can expose us immediately.
And that way, Jygor and his guys can still help us if they get away.
Jygor says, we will help you regardless. We just want to stop the destruction. He says, well, we are the only four members of the resistance who still has a conscience and is not fanatical like Gafna.
Meow, Tolan, didn't Meow say that this stuff could actually blow up the entire world?
You don't know, Tolan, because this kind of arcane energy has not been released within your era. The last time an arcane energy was released, like in this magnitude, was the fall of the Netheril Empire, which created a big crater, which is now called the Anarok Desert. Back then, it was a lush land, and the Netherese Empire were advanced civilization with floating cities and stuff. But Karsus tapped into forbidden magic, harnessed an insane amount of energy through the Netherese crystals, and caused this. Rune powder potentially is a remnant of Netherese crystals, and contains the similar amount of power.
Well, so is that what we're gonna do?
All right, so you got at this point, you guys kind of came up with the best plan you could, and it's morning time, and you hear a knock on your door, and it's one of Gafna's men, and he says, "We're ready." So,
Did we send a message yet, or no?
well, yeah, when do you want to send this message?
No, I want to send a message just before we light the fuse.
Okay.
Okay, so he leads you downstairs, and he shows you the disguise room, of course. So you guys have a whole range of disguises to choose from. You can look like anybody in Thay. And he says, "Remember, you need to find a reason to bring a bale of hay to this spot."
Okay, I'm a herdsman. I herd sheep. So that way I can have
Just kind of like a
extra
farmer
hay.
kind of deal.
Yeah.
With a cape.
I got a goat.
Cloak.
You guys put on some commoner garb. Some fancy Thay, some Thay fashion commoner garb.
I think we should put Tiny as our lookout. So that way she's definitely safe.
Now, how much of your equipment are you going to keep on you?
Whoops. That don't apply too much to me, since I just put a cloak over my shoulders and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, so it does apply to someone like Dorlak, who,
Right,
you know,
right.
his weapons and his armor and stuff, looking like a warrior. So if you're gonna look completely like a commoner, what you're gonna carry a weapon, you're gonna just go.
We could cast that disguise self on
yes,
him.
yes, you could.
Does
You have a whole
anybody
bunch
have
of those.
that? Or I do have a scroll, but
You have a whole bunch of disguise self scrolls.
oh yeah. Well then,
Yeah,
why don't
yeah.
we just disguise
Yeah.
everybody that needs to be disguised?
Yeah, we'll do that.
We should have like 6 of them. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm all right. I just because I kind of look kind of
Yeah, I can go full.
goofy anyway.
I can go
but-
full garb.
Now the problem here is 5th edition. I think forces you to concentrate. Let me see if that's the case. No, it's not concentration. Never mind. You can cast as
Then I think that we should cast it on Dorlak and Tolan and Tiny.
Well, the issue is disguise self only works on the caster.
Well, them three need to cast it on themselves then.
They can't read. Not all of them can read it. Tiny can do
Yeah,
it.
I don't-
Dorlak can't read it.
Yeah, I can't.
He can't pull off the spell because there's very high level spells that can disguise the whole party. That's why the disguise self spell itself has some limitations. So Tiny and Tolan can read that scroll. You can read that scroll as well. Dorlak is the only one who can't read that scroll. And he's the only one who's going to look funny in his full gear.
Well, I got an
Let
invisibility potion.
me.
Well, yeah, an invisibility potion will work.
But it only lasts like a minute, right?
Oh, well, I don't know.
How long is invisibility? Greater invisibility only lasts a minute.
Well, invisibility probably only lasts a minute too then.
Oh, no. The potion of invisibility lasts 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
The spell maybe only lasts a minute, but the potion is an hour.
Let me see. I thought I had a potion. I might not though. I have a scroll of invisibility.
The scroll will last the spells
Up to an
duration.
hour, it says. Yep. Okay, I'll cast invisibility. I'll use one of those scrolls on Dorlak then.
Okay, so Dorlak's invisible. The rest of you are disguise selfed, using 3 of those disguise self scrolls.
One.
So the morning the sun actually the sun rises and the morning is upon you. You guys are in the hills of the noble quarter. You have when you get there, everything's already arranged. There is a big bale of hay, and there's like a donkey, the sacrificial donkey, pulling the wheelbarrow full of hay. You know that inside the hay is that barrel, and you can tell because you discreetly know where to look that part of the hay you can see the fuse sticking out. It's a long fuse. And that's where you would light it. So you travel with a bale of hay in your kind of disguised form, and you get towards the noble's quarter, and you see that it's pretty heavily guarded. There are about 9 Thayan guards. They are standing 2 by 2 along the path of the road. And as you're approaching, you see another bunch of servants, a bunch of slaves. Walking about, and the slaves want to go on the road, and the Thayan guards go up to the slaves. You can see the Thayan guards are threatening the slaves, like, get out of the way, something important's going to happen here, and forcing the slaves to leave. So as you guys approach the intersection, one of the Thayan guards kind of turns around, notices you, and he starts coming over to you.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Halt!" Puts up his gauntleted hand. This guy is dressed in very ceremonial armor, very fancy plate mail regalia. I mean, meaning this is something very important. Very ceremonial. He's holding a big banner as well with a symbol of the Tharkia on it. And he marches over to you in like this military march. He says, "Halt! No one is allowed upon the premises. State your business here."
So I kind of bow my head down, and I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, but we've been ordered to take this bale and put it over here to protect the Tharkion from any things splashing up onto him. I mean, at the crossroads there's a sewer there, and we were ordered to come and we'll drop that off as quick as we can.
Okay.
Get out of here.
Give me a persuasion for your groveling.
I will subtle cast guidance. I'll just.
If you've got any inspirations, use one of them.
I do. I'll use inspiration. And I'll give myself guidance. Takes a second. Sound like that dude from our first adventure, the little kobold.
Oh, Meepo?
Meepo, yes.
Okay.
Is it me or did Daenerys get like real quiet on his mic?
He did get a little quiet for some reason.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
I did? Oh. Wait, that's because my microphone was away from my mouth.
Okay.
That's usually
Because I was eating something. So.
Oh.
That's it. So now I need a persuasion. Manage. Persuade. Although I do have a good persuasion anyway, but
you should.
You want that in?
You're charisma based, so you should have a pretty good persuasion.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want that in the tower?
Yeah.
There it goes.
The guard narrows his eyes at you. He says, "Very well, but let me inspect your. Move aside. Let me inspect this before you bring it over." The other guards are, they are standing sentry.
Is it possible?
Very tense situation.
Actually, hold on.
Well, yeah. What would you like to do?
Is one of the other guards possibly knows that Narush is like not up to good things and he could be involved in something shady that
At this time, there's no way to tell if there's any like secret agents or anything among the guards. They are all heavily armored, like plate mail and a helmet. You can't even tell who they are.
Alright, I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion so that it looks like... If I want to cast Minor Illusion in a way that when he inspects the hay bale, it just shows him hay, and if he goes, if he gets any thorough with it, he doesn't see the bomb. And
this looks like more hay.
And as far as somatic component's concerned, it'll look like, try to make it look like I have some kind of nerve issue or something.
Okay, so you can cast the spell, roll a deception to make sure he doesn't know that you're casting.
I'm gonna.
You know what? You can you choose deception or sleight of hand. I'll give you a choice. You can do so to make it look like you are not casting a spell.
I'm gonna subtly cast guidance on him too, or her. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Wait before you roll.
My characters won't. I'm gonna burn an inspiration to give myself advantage. A deception because that's my higher.
Higher than sleight of hand on you?
Well, my deception's higher.
Okay.
Because my character's charisma based as well.
Yeah, you can say like, oh, there's my jittery hand again, or something. The guard says, very well. And he doesn't notice that you cast a spell. He starts inspecting. What is your spell save DC? Because he's going to reach that minor illusion, he has to fail the save.
Okay, it's 8 plus my proficiency bonus plus my charisma modifier. I have a +4 proficiency, and then a +5. It's a 17.
Okay, so he's got to fail this intelligence check.
I hope he's a stupid guard.
Investigation.
Oh no. He
failed.
He fails the investigation. Does not notice that there is part of the hay is not actually hay. He looks at it. He says, "Everything seems to be in order." I don't know who to award inspiration. Somebody gets inspiration. I think that, I don't know. Tiny's the last one who did it. Tiny, you can get inspiration. You successfully fooled the guard. He says, "Proceed," and he turns around and does a military march back to his station. As you guys wheel the wheelbarrow up with the donkey, you bring it to the exact spot. And now it's just a waiting game.
So we're back to where the fuse starts, and we're waiting to see the procession.
Well, the thing is, the Tharkion's palace is up on the hill, so you're waiting for the Tharkion's his caravan to leave the palace gates. The minute they leave the palace gates, when you should start the fuse.
But we're at the end of the fuse right now. Then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're just kind of standing around off to the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of you has to run up and find the Tharkion, the Tharkion's palace.
We mean has to find the Tharkion.
Oh, if I have to do a lookout to see when his procession.
Well, that'd probably be Tiny.
To do a lookout, so she'll do it.
All right, so Tiny, you run up to the top of the hill, and you see the Tharkion's palace, and you see the gates of the palace. So you wait there, and about 2 hours, you guys are just sitting there, standing around, picking your noses. 2 hours. 2 hours later, you see the gates rise, and out of the gates, you see the Tharkion. This gentleman over here, very pleasant-looking guy. You see him. He comes out, and Ethna is at his side. Both of them. He actually needs help of like 2 servants to help him. 2 slaves kind of help hoist him up into the carriage, and she gets in on the other side, and the doors close. And then his procession, you can see that there are several like very, very highly decorated guards next to him. And then also you can see that near his carriage, on a horse alongside his carriage, there's a red wizard. And they start the procession. Some trumpets start playing as he leaves the gate.
As that's happening, Tiny Marble Cakes will go tell everybody else that they're coming.
All right.
Well, aren't you the one with the sending, Tiny, or is that Tolan?
I have sending.
Well,
I have a scroll of sending. I can give to you. You can cast sending, right?
Yeah, I can cast sending. I have it in my spell list. I can just go ahead.
No, I mean, well, Neris is the one who is going to be sending the communique because he's mildew.
All right, then have Neris use.
Well, I have a scroll of sending. Then I'll use it.
Okay.
I think I do. Yeah, I bought 2 of them.
And it's.
Oh wait a minute. Let me make sure.
Legitimate to this person that we're sending to.
Visibility. Sending. Yeah, I do have a scroll of sending. So I will go ahead and tell Tiny or Tolan to prepare to light the when I signal him to light the fuse, and I'll go ahead and send the message.
All right, so the fuse is lit. It begins to burn. Neris, you send a message that you are intending to send. This message goes to, if you remember this guy.
Jorah Alton.
Yeah, Jorah Alton. You send a message to him.
He is handsome. Yeah, okay.
And you guys start making your way over the hill. Once you get to the top of the hill, you see 4 horses waiting. Now, when you see your escaped horses, Jorah, it appears you get a return message from Jorah, and the return message reads thus: It says, Mildew, please don't play jokes on me. Ever since I met you, I have spent every waking moment thinking of you. I must see you again. You're not sure Jorah believes you.
Well, I guess I can get another scroll from.
Yep, I give you my
Roland.
scroll so you can try to clarify. Like,
So is the fuse lit now?
The fuse is lit. You have a 10-minute countdown before
All
this
right,
thing.
well, we better get.
Well, we can still keep going to the horse.
Yeah, you're still. If you
Tiny
can,
Marble is using her
Okay. Hello.
ability in the dash action.
I'm
Well, it doesn't even matter if that matters. But anyway, I'm just going to say, no joke. I'm leaving town now. Please do something. I don't want to lose you. And signed Mildew.
Hey, I'm invisible and I use Misty Step and I run over and I cut the wick with my axe and then I Misty Step back to the horses.
You're not going to stay invisible as soon as you cast Misty Step. You're going to become visible.
are you sure you want to do
Even if
that? You can do it. Absolutely. I don't want to
I
stop
mean,
you, but
if
so
I become
yeah,
a-
but I'm just warning you. You Misty Step over there. You start messing with that thing. You're
Wait,
gonna
see what I
you're
get
gonna be
as
noticed. You're gonna be noticed.
Yeah, because you'll all of a sudden just appear.
Yeah.
I mean, in
Well, I
one
didn't
place
know
and
that
then in
would
another
happen.
place. Huh?
I didn't know I would.
Yeah.
I'm
You take
invisible.
any action.
Yeah, you
Other
do.
than
You,
just
you,
moving.
you cast a spell while invisible that breaks your invisibility, unless you have greater invisibility.
Yeah, which that wasn't. That scroll I had was just invisibility.
Well,
And-
then I can just run over.
Well, why don't we wait to see if he.
Because I only have 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Not
but
how
even if you
far
run
away.
over when you use your axe, that's an action too. That's going to make you visible. Let's wait and see what he says.
Okay.
Okay, it's pretty much been, you guys are already kind of like fighting the clock. You're not sure if you can get out in time in terms of this fuse.
Yeah, I think we need to get on the horses and start heading. And
Horses and book it.
So you guys are heading towards the horses, and when you get on the horses, Jorah reply. You get a reply from Jorah, and he says, he says, I will stop whatever is going, whatever attempt this is. You must get yourself to safety. If I were to lose you, then there would be no life for me at all.
I blush.
Out of town.
So are you guys gonna just get on a horse and just book it, not look back?
Yeah.
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 All right. So you guys scramble to the horses, jump on, and slam the gas, and go as quickly as you can. With the wind flowing through your hair as you're flying through the meadow. You see a bunch of guards kind of look at you strangely, like what's going on. But you're going so fast that they don't even have the time to stop you and question you as you're flying through the meadow, and you get all the way up to the gate. You don't know what's going on behind you. You don't know what had happened, but as you get to the gate, you see that Gaffna was good to her word. She had.
You're breaking up, John.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
all right, stop, John. Restart.
Yeah, we got to the gate, and then you really start.
Okay, you get to the gate, and as you get to the gate, Gaffna was good to her word. She has agents posted as guards of the gate, and they see you coming, and they open the gates, so you can ride straight through. And as you ride straight through, they also get on their horses and start riding and following you. You guys are You guys are trying to completely clear the city itself. You make it like about 500 meters outside the city gates, when everything around you, everything that you see, just flashes a bright white, blinding you completely. You can't see anything. Everything just goes completely white. After that, A couple of seconds after everything goes white, a reverberation follows. It feels like a category. It feels like a category 10 earthquake, or was it category 10?
Yeah, that's the most. Right.
You get knocked off. You get knocked off your horse. Everybody gets knocked off their horse. As you hit the ground, you slam into the ground. You take bludgeoning damage. I'm not even counting it because it's so exciting right now. You all slam on the ground as a thunderous clang echoes from behind you. You realize that the bomb has gone off. It takes about 20 seconds for your eyes to stop being blinded. You turn around, and you see the only thing you see is a blinding mushroom cloud. It appears that, unfortunately, despite your best efforts, you were not able to stop the devastation. And you just you stand there for a couple of minutes in awe. You've never seen anything like this before. The mushroom cloud swirls up thousands of feet into the air, and then this blue glow starts raining down from the air, kind of blanketing every surface of what's around you. As you guys you guys look around, and you guys kind of look around in horror.
Mouth agape. So I actually drop down, or get up onto my knees and bow my head and start praying to Nerylus Analar to hopefully to help escort these souls to their next plane.
It was a good try. Now, everybody, you had just been badly blinded. I need everybody to roll a perception, but everybody rolls with disadvantage.
You said perception?
Yeah.
Can I burn an inspiration to cancel out the disadvantage?
Sure.
Yeah, I think I will too.
Maybe.
Advantage. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I should do it. Well, it didn't roll. Oh, I'd be right.
Oh, Tiny, you lucky dog. Oh, lucky cat. Tiny, you're the only one to notice. So, above you, about 80 feet in the air, Tiny, despite the devastation going on, you see a portal open. It's an arcade portal. Out of the portal floats a figure. It is a female red wizard, multiple tattoos on her head, bristling with a scintillating arcane energy. She's holding this powerful Archmagi staff, and she comes out and she's hovering in the air. Her eyes are glowing. Directly above you guys. You guys have a few moments to react before she sees you.
And then Tiny Marble Case will, as she's wiping the tears from her face, knowing what happened.
You did what? What the Tiny Marble?
She gets the party's attention to point out the red wizard.
Well, we can't see.
No, you can see it. Just you were.
Okay.
You're coming out of being blinded. That's why everybody.
I think we should try to find some cover then.
Tiny points up, gets everyone's attention. You look up, and this red wizard is levitating in the air. She has her arms spread out. She has the arcane staff bristling with electrical sparks, and she floats out and she starts scanning the landscape. You guys look around. You guys fell off your horses. You look around. You're in the you're in open meadow in the wilderness. There's some trees in a forest, a little bit down the path. You guys.
I think we dash for the trees then.
You guys run and dash for the trees, and do you go into the trees and run and don't look back, or do you kind of find a place to hide?
So when you say trees, is it just like a clump of trees, or is it like a?
No, it's a cluster. Cluster. It's like the edge of a forest. Cluster of trees. You can try to hide. You can hide behind a tree if you want to go back there, or you can just keep you can just keep running.
If we're in trees, I'm thinking we just keep running. But what does everybody else think?
You don't have much time to discuss it, obviously.
Maybe
The red wizard
Serapis-
is scanning the landscape.
Kill us.
Well, I'm gonna just keep running.
By any chance, was that Syranna?
It didn't look like Syranna.
Okay, then I say we keep on trying to run by stealthily.
Just in case she does something wide area that I want to get as far away as possible.
So you guys run into the tree, run in behind the trees, and you hide. And the red wizard hasn't seen you because she had just come out of a interdimensional warp from the portal. She's levitating in the air, and she gracefully kind of lowers herself. As she lowers herself, lightning sparks from her staff to the ground, singeing the ground around her. And then she gracefully lands on the ground, and she looks at the four horses she looks at the four horses that are dead, and then all of a sudden, those two guards of Gaffna's that were helping you, they ride up, and she meets those two guards, and you see that she begins casting a spell. She lets out a massive, powerful arcane spell. Both these guards freeze and fall off their horses. The horses run away. And then she looks at the guards, and she floats over to the guards. And you see her she puts her finger to her forehead. As you guys are still watching, another two portals open up right next to where she is, and two more red wizards coming out, one male and one female. As you see, these two poor resistance agents of Gaffna's are surrounded by these three red wizards. The two red wizards begin casting spells on the guards, and you can tell they're really awful, necromantic, powerful spells. And the guards choke, and one of the red wizards, you're far away, so you can't hear what they're saying, but one of the red wizards appears that he's doing something to force the guards to speak and to get information, forcing the guard to tell the truth. And you realize that they're extracting information from these guards. What do you guys want to do?
I think we kind of start trying to sneak away.
I got some red wizard stats if you want to take them on.
No, I don't want to take no red
No, but I think we're gonna keep on running.
You guys,
I'm gonna run.
all right, you
Yeah.
guys clear out of there. You do not want to know what happens next.
Yeah, I don't want to do a quarrel with three red wizards.
So you guys escape this horrific scene. These two resistance fighters, their lives are gone. It's over for them. You know this, and you run away into the woods. Luckily, Gaffna has given you all a meeting spot, and you guys, after you run into the woods, you get to a really old, a kind of a cave that's hidden away next to the swamp. So there are two ways to get to the cave. Either you take the long way, which is trudging through the swamp, or you can see that there's a little shortcut you can take that kind of opens you up into the swamp, but you can directly get to the cave. Do you want to go through the hard trudging way through the swamp, or the short way?
Meow meow shortcut because meow meow don't want to get eaten by swamp monsters. Meow meow.
I think we need to be kind of keeping our eyes open around us. So swamps are notoriously a bad place to be.
They are. You've been warned about the swamp. I'm not gonna remind you of how you were warned.
Yeah, but the shortcut's probably an ambush if it's open.
It's a lot more open, yes.
I say we go the long way. That's my opinion.
Okay, do you guys choose to go the long way?
I'm following Tolan.
I say long way.
Okay. You guys made the very intelligent decision to go the long way, because as you go the long way, you see that the open area of the swamp, you notice that there's something has stirred. This blast has pissed something off in the swamp, and you hear this these thundering steps, boom, boom, boom. And then you hear from somewhere in the distance.
The thing goes.
Do you guys want to look to see what it is, or do you just want to get out of here and get to your location?
We're gonna get out.
Get moving.
Nobody wants to take a look, just at least turn your head around and see what the hell caused that?
I'll turn around and look.
Okay, Naris.
Yeah.
You turn around and you see the bog maw, the hydra goat, the feared, horrific beast that you've been warned of over and over again that haunts the swamps of Thay. But luckily, you made the right decision. You took the murky side area, avoiding confrontation with this bog maw. And you get to the secret location, the safe haven, which is the cave. And when you get to the cave, you go down the tunnels, and you can see that there's torches lit down the tunnels as you go down. And the tunnels are. This was an old mine that was long forgotten, and you get there, and the first person you see is Gaffna with a big smile on her face. She says, "You did it! You did it! I can't believe we did it!" And she comes over and gives you all an embrace. She's so happy. She's like, "Why do you look so sullen?" She's like, "We did the impossible. We rocked the very foundation of this cursed land. We brought the fight to Saztam himself."
But at what cost, Meow Meow?
She says,
Teary-eyed.
she says, "The cost we must all pay. Every war has its martyrs. Every war has its casualties."
And we are a little sorrowful for the losses, but that hug you just gave me made me feel a lot better.
Am I still invisible?
No,
No way.
no, that blast broke whatever
Okay.
concentration is involved. That blast,
Concentration.
that blast broke it.
Roland is not speaking right now. He didn't accept the hug. He just by himself. You don't want him to say anything.
Yeah, what are you going to do now, Gaffna?
She says, "The resistance, the fuse is lit, the spark has begun. I'm going to gather my forces." She says, "What we did here, she says, I'm going to make sure it rings throughout the lands." She says, "The fight begins now." And you can tell, a lot of her resistance fighters are kind of milling about. They're kind of writing letters and stuff like that. She's organizing. She's kind of organizing her forces. She says, "We destroyed one Tharkion today." She says, "But there's 7 more."
And then I'm gonna speak to Gaffna and let her know about the guards being interrogated by the 3 red wizards and
she
killed.
says, she looks at you, and you see a moment of kind of sadness in her eyes, and she says, "Luckily, those guards do not know what this location is." She says, the only thing that those agents knew was that when 4 horsemen came through, they are to open the gates. So they do not know the ultimate plans or the location of this place, and I mourn their loss. She says, "The Fendelter's gambling club is now cleared. There's no one there anymore." She says, "We move our base."
It might not even be there anymore.
She says, we shall be moving our base to Pyridos."
Well, I think you need to beware of Nyrus, or whatever his name is. I'm pretty sure he has some kind of nefarious plan to blame everything on you and the rest of the rebellion. So
She
you
says,
just need to...
I'm certain Nyarush will try to use this to his advantage, but there's no way he can take the same amount of power that the previous Tharkion had, because we have enough secrets on him to bury him. He says he must cooperate with us, or else he will be destroyed.
Oh, that's good news.
And then she looks at you so happily. She's like, "Oh, you should be so much more happy." She's like, "But I know something that will make you very happy."
And what's that?
You guys look over, and there is a robed figure sitting in a chair, and she puts her hand over to the robed figure. The robed figure stands up and takes off her robe, and it is Syranna.
Oh, wow.
So you guys have completed your task, despite the cost. And Gaffna says, "I believe I will leave you to it then. I have a lot of preparations to make." As Syranna approaches you.
I think Tolan has the amulet.
Do I?
Yeah. I think you're the one that picked it up.
I'll see in my inventory, but I'll claim I don't have it, I guess. But still, Tolan's not in talking with him.
I don't think I created the item, or maybe I didn't put the item in.
No.
But I thought I did. This is the item in question. You, Tolan, one of you has the item.
I can just say I have the item. So I go over to Syranna with the glyph key, and I hand it to her.
She holds it and she says, "Remarkable. I cannot believe that this exists." She says, "Because I have not yet created it. How is it possible that it exists and is in your hands? Please, enlighten me."
So I started explaining to her about the whole interdimension thing and where we came from, and that we met her alter ego,
her simulacrum.
What was it? Her simulacrum, and that if we was to show her this, that you would be willing to help us to go and retrieve the that heart, so that we can destroy the heart.
The heart?
Because she took the heart. Wasn't it the heart, that druid's heart, or the drow's heart?
Not quite.
Meow meow, the king's phylactery, meow meow.
Yes. So Syranna kind of starts the phylactery. So Syranna is handling this glyph key, and she says, "The story you give me is incredible. There's no way I could have possibly believed it. If not, you possess something that I had thought about creating but never been able to create. And clearly, this is a creation of my own hand." And she puts the object in her hand, and the key floats up, hovers in the air, and it starts lighting. She says, This is the skeleton glyph key to the Doomvault." She said, "I had pondered creating one. For as you may already know, I am the wizard who created the interdimensional portal nexus called the Bloodgate. The Bloodgate connects all realms of Thay. It connects to the Doomvault, and it connects to the portals that Zazdam use now to invade the Sword Coast. They were all my creation. However, in such a creation, there were safeguards that I was forced to comply. Safeguards in regards to who may use the portals, how the portals are, how the users are tracked, and what restrictions are pulled, and what strings are pulled, and what restrictions are made when the portals are used. I envisioned a powerful key that will allow total access to the entire Bloodgate Nexus. I thought about creating it to subvert the will of Zaztam himself in secret. And here it is, before me in my own hands. She says, I would not have... She says, there's no way you would have obtained this. If not, I haven't given it to you myself. She says, therefore, I simply do believe you. She says, tell me, what is it that you truly seek? She poses a question to you. What are you after?
Only
We
you guys got.
entered the Doomvault.
She says, with this key, I can get you inside the Doomvault, but why would you want to go?
We need to get the
Phylactery.
the phylactery. We need to find that damn phylactery, and we believe it's in the Doomvault.
She looks at you, her eyes grow wide, and she actually starts laughing. You want Zaztam's phylactery? Insane! That is the most heavily guarded and warded object in all of Thay. Indeed, it is most likely inside the Doomvault, but how could you possibly imagine reaching it? The Doomvault is a gauntlet of death.
Well, we might have to look for a guide to help us. And I think
She says, "I can."
possibly.
She says, "I have joined the resistance. I believe you already know that. I believe my thoughts and my perceptions on things have drastically changed once I was offered the position of Zulkir. I realized how false the leadership of Zaztem is. He does not wish to lead. He does not wish to further the study of magic. He only wishes to dominate and rule. It's like this is not the true intention, the true beginnings of the Red Wizards. We are a society of wizards in the study of magic, not the abuse of it. But that is a long time ago. I'm afraid I have to face the truth, how corrupt an organization we have become." She says, "If you truly wish to obtain Zaztam's phylactery, you will have in your hands the power over the strongest dictator and possibly the strongest wizard in the realms. Do you believe yourselves capable of such a task?"
Well, you wouldn't probably have given us such a task if you didn't think we weren't capable of it.
Fair point, but I do not know what I will be thinking in the future.
You're a diviner, aren't you?
She says, but it is the art of divination is not as straightforward as it may seem to some. It is not simply that we read the future. We read the strands of fate and how they may or may not collide, and we make the best assumption based upon the trajectory of the current metaphysical plane. And she goes on a whole bunch of technical nonsense. But after that, she comes back and she says, "I can get you inside the Doomvault, but with this key, I can definitely get you inside the Doomvault. But the problem is, I do not know what is inside the Doomvault, for despite my utility in designing the portal nexus of the Doomvault, I have never been allowed in it myself." You see, Zaztam is intelligent enough to relegate different tasks to different leaders so that none of us has the full picture except for him. Or perhaps Taruvar. He is the headmaster of the Doomvault. Perhaps he does have the full picture, but I do not. However, yes.
Put that name in chat.
Teru, I'll put it in later. You'll come on that name later.
Okay.
She said, Syranna kind of nods at Gafna and says, she says, they will be coming with me now. Say your goodbyes. And Gafna says, you can't imagine the good you've done today. And she's all smiling. She's all happy, and she gives all of you a big hug before Syranna opens up a portal and invites all of you inside.
Well,
Nolan is just gonna go and punch Gafna before he jumps in the portal.
Oh, right, before she can react.
You're just a gnome, so she don't care. You just be punching her in the kneecaps. That was a love tap, Gafna. All right, so I step into the portal. Quit making jokes.
Magically delicious.
You step into the portal, and you feel yourself kind of being pulled apart and then put back together. It's a very powerful kind of arcane device that you guys are kind of you guys been pulled into, and then a moment later, you guys are standing in a closed chamber. Let me bring this up. Finally, we got battle maps again.
Oh boy.
I can remember. We know who the creator of the vault is, who might be a prisoner in the vault. Kazit Gul?
Yeah, Kazit Gul.
He may be someone we might want to try to find to help guide our way.
Didn't he trade Batman?
That's Raja.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So you guys are pulled into this completely closed cave. There's no entrances or exits. There's just an open space. And within the space, there are 4 arcane pillars. The arcane pillars are all each kind of glowing alternate colors back and forth. In the middle of this space, there's a big diviner pool with a rainbow of colors and arcane energies coming out. And Syranna is standing before this pool. You turn around and you look around, and there's several red wizards with Syranna. And you also turn around, and behind you, there's a tabaxi, and he's got a little cart with a mule on it, and it looks like he has a whole bunch of items inside of it. There we go. So Syranna motions for you guys to approach.
Approach what? The pool?
Yeah, the
guy?
pool.
Okay.
Meow, pretty meow meow.
It is very beautiful as you stare at it. And you look inside the pool, and it kind of it emanates all these different colors. But you see that every now and then you see like some sort of object or some sort of a ceiling or wall appear. It's showing you like glimpses to some other space. So as you present yourselves to Syranna, she says, this portal will lead you to the Doomvault. She says, but I must explain how the Doomvault portals work if you are to survive in there. The Doomvault is the most heavily guarded place in Thay Presently, we are in something I like to call the gatehouse, my own private dimension, and these here are my compatriots. They are loyal to me only, and not to Zaztam.
I'm glad to hear that.
She's like, do not worry, they are here for our protection. And you see the other red wizards are just, they just stand there observing, very stone-faced, not saying or doing anything. And she says, allow me to explain. The Doomvault is the Doomvault, hold on a second, is a secret location below the heart of Thay, the Thay Mount itself, which is above us. It was built by the ancient red wizard by the name of Kazit Gul.
Thank you.
He preceded Zaztam as the Zulkir of necromancy, and he had originally built the Doomvault as a vessel to siphon souls of people who die there for use in his own experiments. The Doomvault originally was called the Phylactery Vault of Kazit Gul, for he was the first necromancy lich of the Zulkirs of Thay, preceding Zaztam. In a war about 150 years ago, a civil war among the Red Wizards themselves, Kazit Gul was defeated by Zaztam. Zaztam took Kazit Gul's assets, including the Doomvault, and turned it towards his own purposes. What his purposes are is known only to Zaztam himself. The rest of us know bits and pieces. We know that Zaztam is searching for certain people that he wishes to be admitted and transported to the Doomvault, though the nature of those people he has hidden from me. We also know that Zaztam loves monsters and has an entire menagerie of dangerous beasts that he keeps inside the Doomvault. He keeps their power tempered somewhat, but they are dangerous nonetheless.
Kazit Gul is a prisoner in this vault also now?
Kazit Gul was then imprisoned in his own vault. He is said to be lurking deep within the bowels of the vault, though none have seen him in over 100 years. Zaztam has his own personal chamber inside the vault. It is that chamber that it is understood that Zaztam is keeping his phylactery. How to reach that chamber is known only to Zaztam. But if you are able to enter the Doomvault, find your way to Zaztam's chambers and steal his phylactery, you will hold a power over Zaztam that will destroy him. She says, I will explain how the Doomvault is organized, despite the fact that I have not been in there myself. I do know that the Doomvault has a certain organization and a certain landscape. She says, throughout cycles of the moon, the Doomvault itself will shift and change, never staying the same. And the character of the change is known only to those who have access to the Doomvault themselves. Only the highest and most powerful red wizards are allowed access. The way they obtain access is with glyph keys, similar to the skeleton key that you possess that I have just created. The difference is that each red wizard is attuned to a glyph key. The attunement is permanent and can only be for one person. There are diviners who monitor the attunements out of my own control. Any aberration or abnormality in the attunements of the glyph key will bring warning to Kazit Gul, the leader of the Doom Vault. Any alarm raised in the Doom Vault will bring down a force of red wizards to which none of you can deal. He says, but this is the secret that I have been keeping. The skeleton key attunement. The skeleton key, glyph key that I've given you, it has the power to steal attunements from other glyph keys. If you raise a glyph key to the skeleton key, you may transfer the attunement of that other glyph key into the skeleton key, and the skeleton key will retain that attunement. The skeleton key further cannot be detected in and of itself by the diviners monitoring the Doom Vault. He says, inside the Doom Vault there are many portals. There are black gates. These are portals that can teleport anywhere to which your skeleton key has attunement, and can teleport you back here. Teleport you back here to the gatehouse. Furthermore, there are white gates. White gates are powerful force barriers. These white gates can only be opened to a key that has the attunement to the same zone. He says, therefore, in order to get through a white gate, you must have the attunement to the either side of the gate's zone. However, there is a trick. There is a stipulation to teleportation inside the vault. If a black gate, like I said, is a portal that will open to any zone, any other black gate, and open a portal to here. However, if you enter through one black gate, you cannot exit through that same gate, or else this will alert the defenses. So if you enter through one portal, you must exit through another black gate. He says, any questions? And I know there's a lot, but this is a big module.
Okay.
I will remind you of what the situation is when you deal with it.
Okay. The skeleton key needs a copy of the keys. When we copy a key, we can use it on a black door. And once we go through that door, we can't go back out, right?
You can't go through the same door twice. If you do, you'll alert Red Wizard sentry. You'll alert the Red Wizard defenses. You can, however, go through one black gate and find another black gate and go through that black gate without doing so.
Using the same attunement of the key, or does the key lose the attunement after it gone through a gate?
You have to have attunement to the gate in order to go through it. So the key has attunements, but these attunements refer to specific locations or zones. Inside.
So once you got into a zone, you have to get the glyph for that zone, and then you could use the other black gate, I assume, that's in that zone.
Yes, out of character, what it means is you can't go in there and spam long rest before every encounter. You have to, once you go in a black gate, you have to find another black gate before you are allowed back here into the safe area or any other zone.
You say the glyphs are on a red wizard?
Red wizards have glyph keys, just like the skeleton key you have. Their glyph keys, however, cannot be used by anybody but them. They are personally attuned. Your skeleton key can be used by everybody.
So if we kill a red wizard,
or somehow obtain the red wizard's glyph key, you can steal the attunement to that zone.
But if we kill it, though, it won't set off the alarm the way trying to use their glyph would.
She says, when you cause a disturbance inside the Doom Vault, obviously many things can raise an alarm. If you spend too much time inside the Doom Vault, eventually that will send off an alarm as well. I would not plan to spend more than...
That's not good news for our group.
I would not plan to spend more than 3 hours at a time inside the Doom Vault before an alarm is raised. She says, I will do everything I can to shield you. There are areas inside that you may even find portals to speak to me and communicate.
Oh, so we could use a black gate to go out of the Doom Vault temporarily and then go back in?
Yes, but you can't use the same gate that you just used. You see what I mean? If you use the same gate twice,
if we come back to if we come back to this area, which you said we could.
Yeah, but you'll come back here, but you'll raise the alarm, and when you go back into Doom Vault, they're ready for you.
Now, what I'm saying is, if we're in a zone. And we find the second black gate, because you said you could go to any zone that you have the glyph to.
Yes.
If you go through, well, then we could come back here.
You can always come back here because your skeleton key is already attuned to this gatehouse.
But then, if we go back through it, then it's going to set off an alarm.
No, if you go back through the same black gate. You can only go back through a different black gate.
So I guess if we come back here, we're good, and we can go back into the Doom Vault without...
Yes, you can go through a black gate that you previously went through. You just can't go through it twice in a row. If you go through it twice in a row, that registers the signal of the skeleton key, and that will expose you.
Right, so we could even go back to a zone we've been through before.
Yes.
But just as long as we're not going through the same gate
twice
in a row.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cannot go through the same...
Like you can go in the gate, but you can't go back out the gate.
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay.
That's the idea. Out of character.
So
that's how we keep you fighting in the game without spamming long rests.
So if you go through the front door to get in the house, you gotta go out the back door to get out of the house.
Yes, but then again, you can go back. Yes, you can't go back through the front door, but you can go out the back door and then go in back through the front door again. That's fine.
Right. I got you.
So it's not totally horrible. It's not like you only have one chance in it or you're dead. But it is that there's stipulation.
Go through, you beat a zone, and then you could come back here and take a rest, and then go back in and try some more.
That's the idea. There you go.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay.
Yes, it's a very roundabout way to make the game mechanically work.
Because you said it was a giant puzzle, so
she says it will not be easy to obtain attunements to other zone. If you face red wizards inside the Doom Vault, be warned. The Doom Vault, in actuality, is a complete zone of anti-magic. However, there is a secondary weave that has been created inside. Your magic will work inside the Doom Vault, but the secondary weave is powerfully attuned to any red wizard inside, and less so to you. They will find means to control the weave itself, alter, fail your spells. I would be very careful if you are to face off against any red wizard. We are formidable. We are formidable to be faced on a normal basis, but inside the Doom Vault, our powers are extreme.
That sounds scary.
Well, naturally, it's not. I want to make. It's not gonna. It's the Doom Vault. It's no cakewalk.
I know it. I'm just messing.
She says. I do not know how Kazit Gul had managed to create his own weave inside the Doom Vault, but certainly that much arcane energy must be powered by some source. If you can find the source that powers the weave inside the Doom Vault, you may manipulate it for your own ends. He says, but know this, the magic that you draw inside the Doom Vault, even your divine magic, will be powered by a weave that is created by red wizards themselves. Be careful how you cast inside the Doom Vault.
Be careful how we cast spells?
Yeah, be thoughtful about how you use magic inside the Doom Vault, especially if red wizards are present. Meaning that red wizards may have some extra abilities to mess with your magic. Was what she's saying.
Even meow meow magic?
Even bardic spells. Because in total anti-magic you have no power. But inside the Doom Vault, you draw upon the weave that is present. An artificial weave.
Does we knew in the city if we casted powerful spells, it probably would have brought red wizards to alarm. Does that also apply inside the Doom Vault?
I would think not, for the red wizards that are present inside are conducting their experiments and likely using high magic spells. I do not assume that casting a high circle spell would alert them in itself.
Well, that's one good thing.
No, that would suck. That would be that would be just a
That would
nerf
really
on your
suck,
power.
yeah. It'd be like the Ewoks versus the Empire or something. Of course they won, so.
She says teleportation spells have limited use. They will not work beyond white gates. She says the only means of teleportation is through the black portals.
Through the black gates?
She says if you try to dimension door outside the Doom Vault, you will find yourself in solid rock.
Well, I mean, Dorlak might like that since he's a dwarf.
Explain the white gates again.
White gates are barriers. These barriers prevent you from moving beyond them. White gates separate two areas. If you're attuned, your skeleton key is attuned to either area, you can get through the white gate.
When we
I will, of course, review. I'll review this when if you encounter situations when you get in there. So here he is. This is the leader of the Doom Vault, the Connoisseur, Teru Var. He also is a lich. He is answers only to Zaz Tam. So Kazit Gul is the guy who built the Doom Vault. Teru Var is the guy who controls it. He's the headmaster of the Doom Vault. Very powerful lich. Generally nasty kind of a thing you don't want to deal with if you don't have to.
When I had my question about the white gates is, will we know what zone is on the other side of the white gate?
She says, not necessarily. He says, unfortunately, I can only present you with a single attunement that I have taken off of a fellow red wizard that have fallen in battle. There's only one entry point. She says, however, once you obtain a glyph key, you will know the name of the zone that you shall enter. She's she takes out of her pocket another glyph key. It looks a lot like your skeleton key, almost indistinguishable by the naked eye. However, this key is not activated. It's not lit. It has to be attuned to its assigned red wizard to be used. So she gives you the key, and you put the two keys side by side, and you see that the other key begins to light up, and you can see that in this script. I don't know. Does anybody here read Abyssal?
I don't think I do.
Literacies. I know I don't read Abyssal.
Well, that sucks. She's Syranna says, "I'll read it for you. That zone is called the Abyssal Prison." She says, there is your initial attunement. It will allow you to enter the Doom Vault, but further attunements in other areas of the Doom Vault you will have to discover when you enter. She says, the phylactery vault of Zaz Tam, will be extremely well hidden within the Doom Vault. I cannot tell you where exactly it is, but perhaps if you find others inside, you may get some clues.
Who's that Tabaxi back there? What are they doing hanging out with all your red wizards?
Oh, that is Mogwai. He's liberated Tabaxi. I figured that you may need some assistance in your adventure in the Doom Vault, and so I have hired him to help you as a merchant. And you see the Tabaxi waves his hand. Hi there, I'm Mogwai. Come see my wares.
Fun.
So I'm going to open up a shop called Mogwai's Shop, so you can access his shop for his wares while you're here in the. Obviously, you have to be here in the gatehouse in the safe zone to use his shop. Right. So I have his shop open. I'm going to close the other shops.
Okay. Oops. Shops.
He says, "Don't forget to sell me all the junk you find in there." He says, "Yeah, I'm gonna charge you a lot because this crazy bald lady warped me from over here, and I'm feeling a little dizzy here in this astral ripple. So I'm gonna have to charge you a little bit more, but I promise my goods are good. Best quality you'll find anywhere." So Mogwai sells mostly a lot of different kind of magical scrolls and potions, but he will happily buy all of your items.
Well, I hope we kind of rest up before we go in there. And just
who wants the gate the glyph key and the skeleton key inside their inventory?
Door lock. You're usually in front.
Okay.
Door rack.
Matter to me. Dole the fruit.
I'll try to remember that.
Okay, so Dorak, inside the item description, it's written how the keys work as well, if you need a reminder. Here, I'll put this into your inventory. And here, so everybody can see. And also, you can see there's a little, a link to a note.
On the output record?
I put a note to all the attunements you have. So where is it? So I'm going to write down the attunements. This is a note that it's going to be inside your notes thing, and I'll also put it inside your journals. So you can reference this whenever you want to see what areas you're attuned to, and I will update them as you obtain new attunements. So you have an attunement to the gatehouse right now, and you have attunement to the abyssal prison.